President Biden says, my party, I want to gut Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. And that's just not true. Not even George Santos would make up a whopper like that.
Hey guys, DJ Wonder Chrissy back at ya. It's a beautiful Saturday here, and we're heading up to 95 degrees by the end of the day. It's starting to get a little hot, but it's still not too bad. So happy Labor Day weekend to you guys, and we're gonna do talking about some financial stuff that hit the news. There was a leak by the Fed. There was some warnings issued to several large regional banks that they need to shore up their capital and their liquidity. And there's some very popular names on this this news leak here. Those that were warned are Citizens Financial, Fifth Third, Key Corp or Key Bank, MNT, Huntington, Regions, and First Citizens Bank. So there's some major regional players there that got a little bit of a warning or a scolding or whatever you want to call it from the Fed. They normally do that. That's the regulators come in, and they if they notice something that they don't like, they are going to issue a warning, and that's what they did among these regional banks, which in itself is a little bit worrisome. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the news. Dennis Leary or Leary from Fox is issuing issues about liquidity for small business. He says a lot of these banks that regional banks that deal with small businesses are cutting back on their lending, so some of these small businesses are getting crippled here. Which, and also people, if you saw the savings rate for the last month went down virtually to zero. So, you know, people have been buying, but they're using their savings or what they have left of their savings to be able to do that buying. So that's not a good sign. So savings are down. People are spending their money. No one's saving it. So there's no money in the banks for the banks to loan out. So it's a vicious cycle. And as we talked about too, the Fed's going to have, I think, a meeting towards, maybe the end of the month, middle of the end of the month of September. They're expected, they could potentially rise. If the best case scenario, they're going to pause. But, you know, with the jobs report coming out on Friday, it could be a pause, but we never know. We never know. They want to get ahead. Hopefully they want to get ahead of this. But as I told you guys before, every time that they raise interest rates, they're actually tightening the vice on some of our banks, because as interest rates go up, banks loan less, they make less, and the stuff they have on their books gets less and less valuable. So they've been saying ouch for several months now, so they want the rising to end, but I'm not sure that that's the case. So there you go. Several banks there. I'll go over them again. Citizens Financial, Fifth Third, Key Corp, MNT, Huntington, Regions, and First Citizens. Those are some major regional players, folks. And I actually talked to some gentlemen from Fifth Third at the BMW Open. They seemed to believe everything was hunky-dory in their neck of the woods, but I wouldn't be that rosy, guys. If you are watching, comment below if I met you at the BMW Open, you guys that work for Fifth Third out of Rosemont. But anyway, let's also talk about Bud Light. Yeah, we always love Bud Light. Bud Light continues to lose market share, continue to lose sales. They're losing like 27, 28% on a weekly basis. Their sales are down. They sold 7 different brands to to some companies that wanted them. So they're raising cash, and even the Bush family offered to buy the company back, but I haven't heard an official response on that. So things are not good. Things are not good, and as I told you guys before, I'm not seeing, at least around here, bud's been taken off many of the tappers locally. You may be able to get it on a bottle basis, but you know, I know maybe one or two places that I've seen in the last month that had it, where, you know, before every place you went had Bud or Bud Light on tap. So, you know, they're hurting big time. They're hurting very much. And, you know, the people that are winning are Modelo, and Yangling. Yangling's sales are up like 27%. Modelo's like 10, 15. Miller Lite's up. You know, I never really drank Bud or Bud Light that much. I've always been a Coors Light guy. But I'm seeing around here we're getting Hamm's on tap, which it comes out of the Miller Lite stable, I believe, and Pabst Blue Ribbon we're seeing, and Old Style. Old Style is making a revival in Chicago. It was at one time it was a big beer, or the official beer of the Chicago Cubs, and I think like in the mid '80s they kind of phased them out to bring Bud in, but I'm seeing Old Style more and more on menus at across the Midwest here at local pubs and stuff. Not necessarily on the tap, but they're serving it in the tall boy cans, just like PBR. Hamm's is showing up on the tapper more and more places, and yeah, it's a decent beer at a decent price. So I can't complain, but you know, like I said, our folks at Bud Light are trying to figure this out. They're hoping that the NFL season will usher in a new chapter for them, but I don't think so. I don't know if you've seen, they've got a new commercial out. They're trying to make those, you know, stupid guy commercials again to revive their following, but I got a feeling it's not going to help. So I keep seeing week after week after week, sales are down year over year, 27 to 30%, and the numbers just keep slowly inching up. So that's not a good sign. And actually, I was in a Walgreens a couple of days ago, and they had a pallet of Bud Light products there, and they were selling Bud Light at, I forget how much, but it was a 12-pack, and they had a advertisement there that you got a rebate, and the final cost was $1 for a 12-pack. So, but they still had a ton of it there. So it doesn't appear that people are even buying that. So there you go. Bud Light is the new zombie company, and look for more coming out of Bud Light, because I don't think they can sustain this very much longer without doing some more changes. You might see them sell some more brands. You might see themselves sell themselves back to the Bush family. Who knows? Although I'm not so sure the Bush family knew what they were doing towards the end of their last reign in the company, but they made a ton of money by selling out to InBev. I think they kind of got taken by surprise. It was one of those takeovers. By the time they turned around, InBev had such a large portion of their stock, there was not much they could do. So I don't know if you follow the Bush family, but the Bush family's got a whole list of issues that they were dealing with in the later generations, and that contribute to the fall of their brewing empire. So check that out. You could do a Wikipedia on that. You'll find out all about the problems that some of the Bushes had. But anyway, we're not here to debate that. We're here to tell you that don't drink Bud. Don't drink Bud Light. Get some good beer, right? it's officially September, which is the mark of Oktoberfest. You're going to see a lot of local breweries turn out some good Oktoberfest beers, but you got to make sure you get some early because it goes fast around here. I know 2-3 weeks, actually 2 weeks into September, and it'll be gone at one of my favorites over here in Crystal Lake Brewing. But I do have a couple of pubs that I know that keep at least 4 or 5 Oktoberfest brews on tap during the month of September. So those are my go-tos, and I'm looking forward to hitting them up for some good beer in the next couple of weeks. So there you go. Enjoy fall. Enjoy the beer that's flowing, folks. That's all I have for today. Be careful what you do with your money. We're not giving you financial advice, but just warning you that some of these regional banks are starting to have more and more issues, and the Fed is starting to call it out. So you better pay attention because the Fed knows when things are up. They just don't tell us all the time. So this leak helped me help you guys be aware of what's going on. So that's all I got to say today. Over and out.